Hello there. My name is Dr. Larissa Assam, and I'm a board certified family medicine physician and the founder and CEO of Rofi MD. So, today I'm going to be talking to you about the different benefits that come with fasting. Not just fasting for any reason, but a type of fasting called therapeutic fasting, wherein you're fasting and trusting God for health benefits, but also creating the suitable environment in your body for healing and for weight loss. So, with that said, I'm going to talk you through different what happens at different time points of fasting, okay? Before I get into the time points, let me just talk to you generally about why fasting is so important and why it's something I strongly recommend for every patient at Rofi MD. Now, you do want to do this under the supervision of a trained and competent physician who is comfortable managing patients who are going through therapeutic fasting. This is one of the areas of expertise which I have and one of the things which we do at Rofi MD. So, if you are looking for a place to make your medical home, so to speak, then look no further than Rofi MD. And we do have virtual appointments so we can serve people all over the world. All right, so let's get into it. What happens when you fast? And if you see me looking down, no, I'm looking at my notes, okay? Now, when you go through a period of time when you fast, and by that I mean you go through a period of time where you have food only, excuse me, you have water only. Fasting is a period of time where you go through the day, so to speak, and you have water only, okay? No food, no juice, no food in any form, even liquid form. What happens is that you now put the body in a state in which it doesn't have to do the work that is involved with digesting food and also with eliminating food. You know, digestion and excretion, they take energy. They take energy in the body to do that. And so what happens is when that energy is being exerted on digestion, less of that energy is available for healing and for rejuvenation of the cells in the body. And so fasting creates an ideal condition for the body to be able to rejuvenate itself because there's a lot of toxic buildup just by virtue of the environment we live in, the exposure we have to pesticides, the types of foods, especially if you're living in the United States. Unfortunately, it's not the best quality of food. All right. So, one thing you should know when you get into a fast is that the body will respond to your fast, okay? The longer you go, the more of a response you should expect. It is not unusual to experience some aches and some pains. People will experience sometimes muscle aches, headaches, and every fast is different. So even if you've done it 20 times and now for the first time you're noticing these aches, that's okay. The body is detoxing. It is releasing toxins that have been stored up in your cells for a long period of time. This is also the reason why when people don't have their morning cup of coffee, they start to have a headache. It's not that they necessarily are missing the coffee. We call it a coffee withdrawal headache, but in actuality, it's the fact that the body is actually trying to eliminate caffeine, which it interprets as a toxin. All right. It's amazing God created our bodies to actually be able to heal themselves. And so sometimes when people don't feel well, this is also why they don't feel like eating very much. They don't have much of an appetite. And so that's also okay. We don't need to force people or ourselves to eat when we don't feel well. This is all part of the system that the Lord created to self cleanse, to self heal, to detox and get well. Fasting is also a very good tool to use in the weight loss journey. Now, it has been studied at different time points, and I'll talk about what time point I believe is best for weight loss. But it's good to know that fasting has been well researched in the weight loss world and shown to be very quick and safe to achieve weight loss goals. Now, extended periods of fasting do not necessarily help. By that I mean beyond 7 days consistently with no food, the benefit doesn't really tend to be much different. But it is important to note that it's better to do multiple shorter fasts than one 40-day or 21-day fast with no food. You're going to get more benefit with smaller fasts over time. Let's say like every month or every quarter, to give examples. And it's important to also know that because, especially in the area of weight loss, that actually slows things down. Fasting, I really want to stamp, primes the body to heal itself and to reverse disease. Fasting primes the body for weight loss. So this is the reason why many people get on medications and they actually don't see that much of an improvement. It's because the body has not been properly primed for it. So it's imperative that we fast. So let's get into the time points. What happens when you do not eat any food in your body, like I said, in solid or liquid form, for 8 hours? At this point, the body will start to regulate itself. It releases hormones such as glucagon and cortisol, which are stress hormones, because it's thinking, well, maybe there's a reason why you're busy or you're stressed, and that's the reason why there's no food. That's okay. This is a normal response. This is what it is supposed to do. All right. At this point, the main energy source is carbohydrates. It's using up carbohydrates at this point, especially if you eat more carbohydrates. This is why when you want to lose weight, you want to limit the number of carbs you're eating, generally speaking. This is also the reason why a lot of people tend to be hungry, tend not to be hungry, I should say, when they wake up in the morning, because the body actually has stores that it's fine. And this is why I always say breakfast, we used to get told, is the most important meal of the day. No, your most nutrient dense meal is your most important meal of the day. All right. Now, at 18 hours, you continue 18 hours, no food whatsoever. At this point, your body is starting to enter fat burning mode. It's not at the optimum, but it is now entering fat burning mode. And so if you want to lose weight, this is something you want to consider doing. Now, you shift from having glycogen to fat for energy sources. Also, carbohydrates become more scarce and the body starts to try and make the glucose on its own. This is its natural way of trying to compensate. The body now starts to look and scavenge for bacteria and viruses and debris, right? Toxins, and it uses them for energy. So, this is why, again, going through these periods of time with no food are so necessary because the body will use them as its food, as its energy source, and that cleans things up. At this point, the nervous system is also starting to get cleansed, I should say, and there are ketones which are now starting to be used as an energy source. At 24 hours with no food, you have now reached what we call nutritional ketosis. This is a point in which, if we checked your ketone levels, they would actually be relatively high. There's almost no glycogen in the body, and most of the energy is coming from fat at 24 hours. Okay, at this point, you may start to feel a little bit hungry, but understand that the same part of the brain that processes hunger processes thirst as well. And so I always tell my patients, make sure you're drinking at least a liter of water, provided you don't have any cardiac or kidney issues, a liter of water every single day, at least. Okay. And remember that hunger, it's a feeling. It's gonna pass. It's fine. So if you're approaching that 24-hour mark, be encouraged. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. All right. Now you're approaching the 48-hour mark. What is happening? At this point, you're having wound healing happening at a rapid rate in the body. Also, the heart is repairing itself. Insulin levels are actually dropping. At 48 hours, you will have the lowest insulin levels, actually. This also lowers inflammation all over the body. And this is extremely important for anyone looking to reverse metabolic syndrome, which is tied to diseases such as high blood pressure, diabetes, or high cholesterol. So, if you've been struggling with insulin resistance, this stubborn fat that will not go away, stubborn health conditions, you want to make sure you push through to that 48-hour mark. I always say the 48-hour mark, I personally think, is one of the hardest to reach. But if you can just get past it, if you can just get by, I believe the grace really is abundant. The grace really is sufficient. If you are able to exercise, it does not have to be anything intense. Walking counts. Note that this will amplify all the results that you're going to get. So you are now approaching 72 hours with no food, 72 hours of fasting. Now, what is happening? At this point, we have a lot of research studies that have shown that cancer reversal can be seen at this point, diabetes reversal, and also cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, plaque buildup in the arteries, etc. Research shows that tumors are actually able to shrink at this point, and this reduces your overall risk of cancer. So, if you know that cancer is something that runs in the family, this is something practical that you can actually do to prevent cancer development in your body. In addition, would you believe that all your stem cell production resets at 72 hours? So, if you have any concerns about your immune system, you want to push through to that 72-hour mark. Anyone who's on chemotherapy, this is something great and practical you can do to actually mitigate the side effects of chemo. I do this with my patients, and by the grace of God, they actually have a very good response because chemo, what it does is it suppresses the immune system. So while it's suppressing it, this is how you're rebuilding it. Okay, we're going to keep pushing through and we're going to get through to the 120-hour mark. Now, at this point, there's nothing drastically new necessarily that is happening, but research shows that if you want to create a state of weight loss in the body, you certainly want to push through to 120 hours. 120 hours, okay? You absolutely want to push through to 120 hours. Now, this is 5 days, no food. And this is extremely important because now the body is primed for weight loss. Now the body is primed for disease reversal. And so I truly believe that there is grace available. If you're currently fasting, keep going. Keep going. I'm rooting you on. If you have further questions, and especially to have the proper guidance to go through such a fast and do it well, to make sure all your questions are answered so that you don't have any shortcomings, any concerns, please reach out and schedule an appointment. God bless you. Bye.